Hello! I'm John.
I'm Mia.
We're Lemon Knife, and this is going to be our top 25 albums of all time.
Indeed, and it's going to be fun. Anyway, you want to go first, John? Start with number 25.
Thing. Number 25, as you can clearly see here, is Toxicity by System of a Down. Which I just remembered. Sorry, Versus. You just got off the list. But Toxicity...
You couldn't even have the decency to just...
Nope, no decency.
Wow, Versus really just got screwed.
Versus, great album, but not good enough. Toxicity, just that great blend. It's kind of a very unique album, very unique sound, just great blend of like anger, great political lyrics, and insane goofiness.
Absolutely, just like that great mix of goofy and very seriously political.
All right, what is your number 25?
My number 25 is Machine Head by Deep Purple. We just listened through all of Deep Purple's discography, and this
You don't need to, folks.
You don't need to. There are some, good songs sprinkled throughout, but this album is just like the crowning jewel of Deep Purple, just pretty much top to bottom.
It's got like probably their four like best, biggest songs.
It's got like one semi-dud and one not exactly dud, and then everything else just like...
Everything's fantastic, yeah. The only thing, if it like had Child in Time on it, you would really never need to listen to any other Deep Purple.
That's it. It's done. Oh, and Hush, I guess, but then that wouldn't be the same
Hush,
lineup.
Yeah.
Ian Gillan, man.
Win some, you lose some. Speaking of not naturally transitioning, my number 24 is Vivid by Living Colour.
Oh.
And this is a fantastic metal album. It's like metal, but with just that bit of like funk. Like they're a super riffy group.
Yeah.
They also have great. For some reason, my first half of this list and the list in this video is going to have a lot of these political albums. They fall off a little to the top 10, but this is an album full of great like, both like protest and just great like funky rockin' songs, like
such great musicianship all the way around. Everybody.
Cult of Personality, Which Way to America,
Open Letter to a Landlord, Middleman,
their weird cover of Memories Can't Wait.
I like that cover.
It's good.
Oh, but of course, what's your favorite color, baby? Living color. Is it green or whatever?
What's your 24 album, baby? Is it Living Color?
Okay, computer. By Radiohead. If I would have just remembered that in time, that would have been beautiful. If we could just. Anyway, yeah, okay, computer.
We promised to cut down the falsetto at least 10% for the rest of it. Oh no.
Stop. All right, now we got it out of our system until the top 10. Anyway, Okay Computer by Radiohead. I actually, this is the one I remembered last, but it is just such a stunning album all the way through, and just, you're gonna have a lot of blends of, like, albums I want to hear and albums that are just super interesting, like this one. Just, straight through, you're experimenting. Again, I feel like you almost don't have to listen to any other Radiohead albums, except for maybe the Bends, to just, get that goodness of their early work,
Yeah, we're both not fans of the
ambient
synth period.
Amnesiac, Pitchfork, what they like about it. You can't ask us.
Yep. All right, my number 23, continuing our political streak, we have Life's Rich Pageant by R.E.M., which is, they've got a lot of ones that can make this list. Automatic for the People is great, Document is great, Murmur is great. Almost all of their albums are great. Around the Sun ranks around 140,000. But then...
Hey!
That's not even that one.
That's right. That's another one that isn't.
Another
that
one
ranks
that's
maybe
not making the top
120,000.
Yeah. So Life Rich Pageant's just full of energy. It's got These Days, I believe, just a lot of their kind of like hard-hitting, like punchy songs.
Yeah, I think that and Automatic are my two favorite albums by them. Never that I've quite made it here, but they were pretty close, actually. 23, we're going from political to anti-religious. We have Aqualung by Jethro Tull. I mean, first of all, that's the first thing you hear. How do you not tune right in? And then pretty much straight through. This is very much an album that once I heard the whole thing, like, made my respect go up to here for them, because I was already a teenager. I was starting to question her Catholic upbringing, and I was kind of like, this puts everything into words. Especially the last song, Wind Up, I think describes perfectly what I think about religion. He shouldn't be the kind you have to wind up on Sundays. Why is he someone that... think you wound down. All right, what's next?
All right, what's next is Marquee Moon by Television, and this is one of those albums where like the sign that I don't hear weird vocalists the same way as people is that, you know, I listened to this album as a teenager and I literally didn't entirely get, it's like, wait, this is kind of like all these other classic rock groups, but like better. Like, why are they not on the radio everywhere? And the answer is because he has a really weird voice. But
yeah. It fits perfectly, though.
Yeah, it fits perfectly. Marquee Moon, I think, was pretty high up on my best songs of all time list, and it's just like such a weird, unique sounding album with that like killer guitar sound, just these really memorable songs.
Fun fact, once John chose to sing Marquee Moon at a Japanese-style karaoke, and it was an interesting experience.
Yeah, they still did. They did the 5-minute break. They didn't cut out the 5-minute break.
In like 90s MIDI files. Hey John, guess what my number 22 is?
22 by Taylor Swift?
It's Vivid by Living Colour! Oh. We already kind of covered this, so
Colored this. Alright, this album, my number 21 was not in my mind at all until I was looking through all the albums on my phone and I realized that The Crane Wife by the Decemberists had almost all of the songs I like by them and had like 7 out of 10 like great tracks that were on my phone, which is, I don't have a very high keep rate of songs.
You know, you typically don't. Yeah,
it's got
so
their
it's a big
12-minute epic, The Island, which is fantastic. It's got just like a lot of their best individual songs, Sons and Daughters, O Valencia, just a lot of great storytelling, Perfect Crime, and just...
Was that the one you were telling about before with the 7 out of 10 keeps or whatever?
Yeah,
nice.
And it's just like full, it's like, they write great lyrics, but they also just have this great fleshed out sound. They're not like just plinking on like an acoustic guitar.
Oh, yeah. All right, here is the wild card of the list, and you're going to look at me like I've lost my mind.
Right.
But hear me out. My number 21 album is the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. I am qualifying this as an album because of the amount of songs that... yeah, like that.
You requested it.
Did I request it? Because the amount of songs, the Bee Gees songs in particular, that really first and kind of only appear on this album, but then along with them, you have some, you know, Casey and the Sunshine Band, like that A Fifth of Beethoven, and just like straight through is hugely influential and just, you know, set off a whole movement, and I really, really appreciate what they did.
What's your favorite song on it?
Hard call. I would probably say... I'd probably say You Should Be Dancing. I don't think that actually that's one of the ones that showed up on there first, but yeah, You Should Be Dancing like a statue.
All right, my number 20, which, man, actually I don't know what for sure whether it'll show up on Mia's list, but it might, is Them Crooked Vultures by See Above.
See Above.
This is just kind of, some of these albums, a bunch of political songs, a bunch of weird stuff. This is just a collection of fantastic riffs, fantastic just hard rockin', great super group. My favorite super group. We got Dave Grohl from Everything. We got Josh Homme from Quatsa. We've got John Paul Jones from the Zepsters.
Dave Grohl from Everything.
Yep. And they're just killer. Dave Grohl is on drums, which he's great in the Foo Fighters. That's still my favorite instrument of his when he plays it like that. And yeah, wonderful
3
album.
amazing musicians and just
boom.
Boom. Hey John, boom.
Yep.
All right, this is actually a fairly recent discovery, but I think this still has to make it. My number 20 is Ahmad Khan's by The Jam. So this is a recent discovery of a band and on the list, and I just, you know, as soon as I heard it, pretty political, I'd say fairly political, and then just that interesting sound that's kind of Who-ish and then sticking to the earlier stuff, but then also just really, you know, pronounced like angry lyrics and
great British riffiness.
Great British riffiness. Fantastic bassist. So, Bruce Foxton. I'm a great Brit.
Yep. All right, speaking of Brits, my number 19, Machine Head by Deep Purple.
Hey!
We already covered that, so over to Mia.
All right, yeah, we're saving time just by... All right, number 19 is Franz Ferdinand self-titled. I abbreviate a little differently than arrow pointing up. It's self-titled in parentheses. I guess I could have done that in shorthand. But as I said last video or last series, I don't think there's a band like Franz Ferdinand before or since. And when I was looking over that, I kept like half this album, which I also don't keep that many ultimately off that many albums. But just this fantastic dance punk sound.
Yeah,
fantastic lyrics. Like, I think their lyrics are super underrated. Yeah, that's exactly. You know, just like, and it's just all this, you know, ridiculousness. But
I mean,
still.
their big hit is about World War One.
Is it about World War?
I don't know. I think it's from the
it's double
Archduke's
entendre.
perspective.
Yeah, I think, or not double entendre, like double meaning. I think. Yeah. So thank you, Franz.
You're welcome. All right.
Yeah, he's just named Franz, clearly.
My number 18 is The Suburbs by Arcade Fire.
Oh, yeah, this came very close to mine.
Which is just fantastic album. All of their albums really are, like, would probably make a top 100 or something like that, because they have a lot of great stuff. But The Suburbs is probably the best collection of songs. It's also a very cohesive kind of whole, like, just about the suburbs.
About the suburbs.
Yep.
Do you think The Suburbs is about the suburbs? Well, you'd be right.
Yep.
Okay, so we get to sing the title of this next one.
Oh boy.
Odelay, 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 Odelay. So this is an interesting one in that I probably don't want to listen to it that often, but it's just undeniably, undeniably interesting. Just what an interesting blend of genres. Definitely,
weird
you know,
samples,
weird samples, and then it has some of my favorite Beck songs, and probably like the highest concentration of it. It's got Devil's Haircut. It's got Where It's At. You know, it's just, you know, it's very, 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 you know, quality
Lord
album.
only knows.
Right? Yeah, Lord only knows. New Pollution, I like that one. So yeah, just such a super interesting album, very exploratory, and just Becca's like one of my favorite musicians as a whole. So great stuff, very inventive.
Okay, my number 17 is The Queen Is Dead by The Smiths.
Oh yeah.
And this is almost like kind of greatest hits of theirs. So I guess they have a lot of singles on it, but it's got, you know, it's just fantastic, just the peak of their songwriting in terms of like the lyrics, the full like band sound, the just all about it.
All about it. It's all about that it. No pronouns. Number 17 is Them Crooked Vultures, self-titled. We already covered this. The supergroup that should have been longer.
Yep. Hopefully they'll come back soon. All right, number 16, mixing it up, we have Revolutionary Volume 2 by Immortal Technique. The only, not the only album containing rap, but the only rap album on this list. And this is just, he is definitely my favorite rapper. He's got just like these fiery, brutal lyrics. Like, he's got some that I still hear and be like,
oh boy, yeah.
Which, you know, if you're gonna be great, you gotta have some like that, or, you know, if you're always in the safe zone. And then he's got like a lot of great just individual lines, you know, racism frozen in time like Walt Disney.
What's the one about Bill? Maybe we need to censor
You're
ourselves.
a patriot. You ain't
Bill
nothing
O'Reilly?
but a beep racist. Beep.
Great.
Trying
Why
to
did I
eject
ask?
me. I ain't got a beep deal with Pepsi. Immortal Technique is treason to the Patriot Act, so come and get me, beep, because I'm not coming back.
The finest Kids Bop rendition there ever was. I want to see a Kids Bop Immortal Technique.
I'll choke your friends in front of you to prove you've fallen off. You won't do beep about it like the church during the Holocaust.
Mommy, I don't want to record this anymore. All right, number 16, something for the kids. Now, number 16 is The Cars, self-titled. Which, you know, like many others, could have just been a greatest hits. You almost what?
I didn't say anything.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I know, I wasn't. I was just looking at you like I'm listening.
Oh, okay. I thought you were looking at me like, why did you put this on your list? Anyway, forget that. But yeah, it really could just be a greatest hits compilation. And once again, I feel like, you know, throw one or two other songs on there, and you basically have everything you need to hear of
like
the Cars.
The Cars' entire discography.
Phenomenal, like power pop, just
wonderful
great
start to
songwriting.
finish.
Yep. I mean, except for I'm in Touch with Your World, you know. But pretty much everything else is killer.
All right, my number 15 is What's Going to Come Next video. It's 109876543221 by Midnight Oil. And this has Power in the Passion, which is my favorite song of theirs. But it also is just like a great weird collection of songs. Like, it's got some like riffy punk type ones. It's got some like unusual experiments. It almost has like a 50s slow dance number. I usually skip that. It's kind of all over the place, and it's a weird jumble of songs all combined with like great political lyrics and just great songwriting in general.
Fantastic, yeah. Just fantastic work all the way around. All right. I'm sure John's going to have this on his list at some point. Right now we have Moving Pictures by Rush. Now, this is definitely not everything you could hear from Rush. Like, they have plenty
so
of
many
good
songs.
stuff, but, like, this is far and away their best album, and just,
So
with the
consistent.
exception of the longest song on the album, The Camera Eye, really everything...
Everything else, all those other 6 songs on
Are
that
just,
track
like,
are stone cold classics.
Absolutely. Like, you really just only have to listen to it to know, like, oh, yeah, I know this one, I know this one, I know this one. That's the reason I know all of these, you know.
Yes. All right, staying on the continent of Australia, my number 14 is Roll On by The Living End.
Roll on. Why didn't we sing that one?
Roll on,
Roll on.
And this is, I think it might be the highest purely like punk album on my list.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, because it's got kind of this punk energy, this like punk overallness, but then it makes it a little more like a mix between like punk and like straight up rock. Like it's got these like crunchy riffs, like on something like Carry Me Home where he's just doing Van Halen it. It's got an upright bass man. It's got Don't Shut the Gate with just that huge like down riff. Man, woman, karma. All right, what you got?
And another one I'm sure will be on John's list. I'm almost contractually obligated to include Songs for the Deaf by Queens of the Stone Age.
You can't even hear them though, Mia.
We have covered this album, or at least the highlights
the
of it, a
Halloween
couple
show.
of times. Yeah, we've dressed up ridiculously as Dave Grohl and Tommy.
I threw a mustache.
Reverse sizes and everything. It was really could have lost every Halloween
Is Dave Grohl
costume
that
contest.
small?
Not that he's that small, but like you're
Tommy
that
is
tall,
very big, yeah.
and I'm just like, hello, I'm Homie apparently. But like fantastic, far and away Queen's Stone Age best album, and
So many great songs.
just straight
that
through great
hard rock, Dave Grohl on drums.
Definitely just like often imitated, never bettered really.
All right, my number 13 is this year's Model by Elvis Costello.
Good choice.
He does a lot of different things throughout his career, but this probably is still my favorite phase of his when he's doing this kind of like punk influenced, sarcastic, like energetic bands, like on things like Radio, Lipstick Vogue, like just great stuff. Probably his most consistent collection of songs as well.
What an interesting musician he is.
Yes.
Interesting songwriter, that's for sure. Exploring everything. But yeah, that might be my favorite of his as well. Okay. This one, as you can clearly see,
you have to warn me about this one.
is in fact 10 by Pearl Jam. That wasn't a fake out to go with System of a Down.
So you should put it at number 10, Mia.
I'm not replacing it with a System of a Down album.
All right, so Mesmerized by System of a Down. What do you like about it? You like how Darren Balakian took on more vocals on that one?
I like how Eddie Vedder took on all the vocals of this one, and this is their debut, and it's magical.
Suck on, Cooper, cocaine, crazy.
The toxicity of the city.
Pushing little children
But
with
like-
a fully automatic. Yeah.
But Revolutionary Grunge album, alright, you know the rest. Obviously, gotta give a shout out to a Hometown Crew also, right? Yeah, Evil Song. I mean, we're Chicago, you know what I mean, though.
From just across the pond from Evanston, it's Black Holes and Revelations by Muse, which I'm 100% certain will be on Mia's list.
Woo!
Very close to the top. This is by far and away my favorite of Muse's albums. It's got Knights of Sidonia, their big epic closer.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of they're still very much, they're maybe in peak of their like hard rock mode, where they aren't like caught up in their early phase of trying to be really like mopey, but they haven't gotten to their later phase of bringing all these synths in. So it's definitely like peak Muse for me.
And it's like definitely still like experimental as a whole, but like in
Yeah,
that
a lot
sweet
of
spot.
different songs on the album, but like
I'll have more to say
in a
later.
sweet
Don't
spot.
worry,
Yep.
I'm trying to shut up. But then if you all right. So all right, number 12. John may be surprised by this, but it is Purple Rain by Prince. So this is definitely like by miles the top tier Prince album, and just really almost straight through. Okay, like track 2 I can skip. Darling Nikki should never have existed. But
Tipper.
You know what? All right, not for the same reasons, but I just think I think straight through it's like Prince's finest work. I think it's interesting things going on, very impressive musicianship. Just it's just so much went into it, and you can tell. You know what I mean? Just I think a lot of Stone Cold
denying
classics.
the talent, yeah.
And like open with Let's Go Crazy, close with Purple Rain. Like straight through, yeah. And this is how you dance to a Prince song.
It's apparently the same way you dance to, what were we dancing to earlier? With our heads?
The Weaker Than a Pump Boy, I think?
No, like during this video, we were doing the same head bop. I don't know.
We'll come back to that. If anyone in the comments wants to remind us.
Yes. All right, anyone who's seen any of our lists knows I've got to put Crazy Arm on it. So number 11 is Union City Breath by Crazy Arm. Also worth noting that for these lists, we did limit ourselves to one per artist.
Oh, I should have noted that at the
Otherwise,
beginning,
there are probably some that would have more things on there, like both of their great albums. So I had to pick between Union City Breath and Born to Ruin. But Union City Breath is just fantastic, super fleshed out sound. They do like great acoustic ballads. They do great like pure riffy rock numbers. They write amazing lyrics. They cover a song from a folk song from the 1950s about fascism and add this frenzied coda to the end of it.
Yeah, fantastic stuff.
Great album front to back.
Listen to Crazy Arm. Maybe one day it'll be big in America because of us, because of you. It's like Crazy Arm, guys. Listen to them.
Crazy Arm!
One arm. It's got to be one arm. They're going to bring the entire American audience to... Anyway,
Yes.
we're on number 11 now. Here's my album that I'm never going to stop pushing that no one knows about. Rough Mix by Pete Townsend and Ronnie Lane. Obviously The Who's gonna appear later, and I think The Faces technically will appear later, but
well, maybe if they had put a better mix on it, it would have done better. I'll see myself out.
Yeah, get out. I'm gonna finish. No, but this is just two great songwriters coming together to create just
Great songs.
Yeah, and just like very different from either of their like respective works, really. Almost like folk leaning in this regard, but still playing a rock and interesting stuff as well. And just just listen to Rough Mix, and maybe that'll have an audience in the U.S. one day. And maybe someone other than me on the Pete Townsend Facebook group will appreciate the.
They should have named it Whose Face? We'll see you next time.
I'll see myself out.